This is a Voyescape podcast. You can find all of our travel podcasts from around the world at voyescape.com.
When people think of Orlando, Florida, food usually comes a distant second to theme parks or rides. But that's only if you don't know the right places to look. In this two-part episode, we explore the city's surprisingly deep food scene, shaped by immigrant communities, by independent chefs, and neighborhoods that built something special long before anyone was paying attention. In part one, we sit down with John Rife, the founder and CEO of East End Market, to talk about how he's built a local food hub that really sparked Orlando's local food movement. Then in part two, we hit the streets of the Mills 50 district with food blogger Ricky Lee of Tasty Chops, exploring the flavors and the stories that define one of the city's most vibrant neighborhoods. 2 episodes, 1 city, Orlando's food scene on Travel in 10.
So I'm John Rife. I'm the owner and founder of East End Market. In 2010, I started doing a locally produced we call it the Harvest Festival. It was just a few days before Thanksgiving. And the idea was, hey, there's great Florida purveyors. Buy your Thanksgiving provisions from local people. So we did that for 2 years, and all of a sudden it's like there were a lot of purveyors and there were a lot of customers, guests, festival goers. I'm like, we're onto something. Like, could we do it more than just once a year? So this was a former church. I went to the different purveyors and said, hey, you know what you can afford per day. If you can pay that rent per day and I can fill the building with enough people, can we make this happen? I've seen great food halls like Granville and Vancouver, and I'm like, what could we do something like that at a neighborhood scale? So thankfully enough of them said yes to give me the courage to buy this church. It's a 2-story church. It's 14,000 square feet. And so all the booths are owner operated. They were people, they've transitioned over the years, but they were all people that I knew that had been vendors at my festivals and or just friends that I was, a geek about their product. They were making great sandwiches. I'm like, oh, you should have your own store. Yeah. So we bought the property in 2012 and we opened in November of 2013. So we're going into our 12th year of serving this community, and we are in the Audubon Park Garden District of Orlando. Orlando has several Main Street districts that each has a liaison that helps coordinate events and vendor walks and movie nights, and we are very fortunate to be in a district that has its own sort of vibe, and a lot of it is these small owner-operated kind of Main Street district type restaurants and eateries and service providers. So we definitely eschew anything that's a franchise. You can't have another concept and bring it here to East End Market. If you're coming to East End Market, it is your first time doing something, and I'm kind of the circus master who's helping incubate. Happy to walk you through and just kind of explain what's what. So on the right, as you walk in the door on the right, is Aubon. It's a chocolatier. She's a French chocolatier that was working for many years in another local bakery and wanted to have an opportunity to do her own chocolate shop. So they do bonbons and they do these cakes that look like fruit, oversized fruit, but they look authentic, but inside it's actually chocolate encrusting a cake. Super popular. They're always selling out. And there's Kim there. So that's Aubon. You have Winter Park Biscuit Company on the left here. They do chicken biscuits and salads and burgers and whatever, but it's all vegan. Okay. So when she came to me, she's like, hey, I want you to try these sandwiches. And they looked identical. And I was like, okay, bite. And she's like, well, which one's chicken? I was like, oh, I like that. I can't tell. That's really cool. Yeah. So they're great. They have a really good crew, and they're one of the larger spots in the market hall itself. Very popular lunch spot. Over here is Hinckley's Fancy Meats. So he's been one of the original guys that was selling meat out of another market purveyor's glass case. And then when that person moved out, he's like, hey, can I stay? I'm like, yeah, just build a full concept. So he's doing great sandwiches, great prepared meats. He has like a tailgate box that he ships around the country for, the big NFL games. And then fantastic sandwiches. So he's kind of like the premier sandwich guy in the spot. There he is himself. Yeah, all around great man. There you go. Matt Hinckley. So good beer selection, and also he makes a lot of the stuff himself. He's not buying it from a third party purveyor. He is the artisan purveyor.
He has little pickles too.
Yep, great pickles. On the right here, you've got Gideon's. Gideon's is a cookie shop. The cookies, as you can see, are about the size of your hand.
Yeah.
When they're open. Always rotating seasonal flavors, very cool like story and merch. Like he's all the art's custom to his company. They started here. He had $800 in his pocket and was working in an Apple store. And I had a vacancy. We had a pop-up opportunity. I'm like, why don't you come for a month and see if it works? And the line was out the door. I'm like, hey, you want to stay? He's like, hey, can I stay?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you can stay. So they've been great. They actually are, I would say, a mainstay. They had a new cookie release on Sunday, and the line was out the door. But very cool, quirky, on trend, sort of this goth,
very
vibe.
cool looking, yeah.
Their store at Disney Springs is like the full manifestation with cobwebs and smoking red lights at the registers, whatever. But that line can be 10 hours long. And so people go, hey, here's the secret one. Go to their original store.
Yeah.
And like at Pike's Market in Seattle, like that's where you go to get the original Starbucks. This is the original Gideon's, and they're always doing great and innovative stuff. Yeah. Ryan's Ocean Room here is a traditional Hawaiian poke, so not American style, but like truly Hawaiian. If you've been there, like, and you order this, you're like, oh, that's like what it's like when you order it in Hawaii. So it was founded by the same people that own Domu, which is our ramen restaurant here, and I'll explain that in a minute. But it's a sister concept to the one here called Gaikatsu Rose. Gaikatsu Rose is kind of like, you can see it's sort of like a bento box, but you get a stone grill. And so you take your Wagyu beef and you grill it on your little stone grill. They've got great sake selection. I think it's like every weekend or every other week they have like a kind of like a family dinner that you can order ahead. Yeah. And I mean family dinner like as in a restaurant family dinner. Like, before service, most restaurants will provide a family meal for the staff. So they go, hey, this is what our staff would be eating, but now you have access to that if you order ahead of time and come pick it up. So that's Gaikatsu Rose.
Are they a Michelin bib gourmand or
they
Michelin-recognized?
are. Yeah, they are Michelin bib.
Okay.
Same with Domu across the way here, and I think there's total 15 Michelin concepts that came out of this market in Orlando.
No way.
So we're for sure an incubator and love knowing all these really cool chefs and seeing them flourish. And across the way here, we also have some retail in the hall. This is the Owl's Attic and Carla Palma, so a jewelry store, handmade jewelry and curated. Same thing with the vintage. Owl's Attic is, we got a cool neighborhood, and it's always fun to find something unique that she goes, ooh, my neighborhood's going to love this, and she's spot on. She's a great curator. Freehand Goods is like a local dry goods store, t-shirts, leather, candles, all sorts of stuff that are unique for this area. They have a couple great artists that uniquely do things for them. So a lot of the art is commissioned work.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of commissioned work here. He works with some really great artists, and it's given them a bigger platform, to be honest. He started this out of a trailer and then had a small store across town, and this came up again as a pop-up. He popped up and was like, hey, this is great. Can I stay? I said, yes, please stay. He's been in business for a lot of years here and always gotten something cool and trendy on the shelf. 20 total small-scale businesses here, everything from food to retail. And then even more in our kitchen, which I'll show you, that people clock in by the hour to make food. Lineage Coffee Roasting, small-scale coffee roaster that got started in a little coffee cart at a farmer's market. This was their first store. They now have 3 across town and are one of the area's premier third wave coffee roasters. So always a popular place. There's generally a line, so we always good baked goods as well. So they do all their own baked goods at one of their stores and bring them in here. Another pop-up that's now become permanent is Poppy's Burritos. It's Colorado-style breakfast burritos. The owner has family in Colorado, and so she's always out doing R&D and coming back with new chilies and sauces and things to accompany the burritos. Yeah. I can do it. Well, this is Ashley. She's the proprietor of Poppy's.
Breakfast burritos are like a thing in Colorado. You can get them everywhere. And I've been missing it since I moved here, so thought that I needed to share them with Florida. Keeping it simple.
What is unique about Colorado breakfast burritos?
Yeah, so we do green chili. So green chili is very well known in Colorado and New Mexico. So Southern Colorado, you've probably heard of like Hatch green chilies out of New Mexico. So that's like the big name of that region for chilies, but they're also produced in like Southern Colorado as well. We do chili festivals, chili competitions. They make beer. with chili, like it's a thing. We want it in everything. So I wanted it in Florida, and so I'm bringing the burritos here. Keeping it simple, so I have my Federal, which is going to be the classic, and it's named after Federal Boulevard in Colorado, which is kind of known for the best Mexican restaurants. We do Mexican-style chorizo in there. It's our own blend. And then we do seasoned potatoes, scrambled eggs, and then the green chili and cheese.
I think everyone calls us the OG. We were the first food hall in Orlando. So on the weekends, there's always some type of event happening here, either one that we're doing or the tenants are doing, from live music to trivia to sketchbooks to sword fighting with baguettes on Bastille Day. You know, it's always something. So the cheese shop, La Femme, has a tasting room up here. She does a lot of wine and cheese pairings, curated dinners. She travels a lot in Europe for wine and cheese, and so she'll come back from a trip and it's like, showcasing all the things that she discovered. The jewelry shop downstairs has a studio upstairs. So Carla Palma, she specializes in permanent jewelry. So that's a welding machine. And so you buy a piece of jewelry and she welds it to you. So it's permanent until it falls off or you get frustrated and cut it off. So it's kind of a fun thing. It's like a less skin invasive tattoo.
And then you weld these shut?
Yes, sir. So I put you here under the machine. I sit you down, and within a second, all I have to do is just turn on my machine, and with this little ground, and that is it. I make your permanent jewelry. You can take it off, yeah, definitely if you decide, but we have to cut it off. And that is basically
David
it.
was telling me he wanted a piece that went from his nostril to his ear.
I can make it possible. Definitely. I got you. I can make you a body. And that's basically it.
Yeah. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Very much.
Yeah.
That's very cool. It's not very often you see something completely different that you haven't seen anywhere else. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Morning. Okay, this is our little kind of a speakeasy. It's our we do host classes in here for like mixology.
Yeah.
It's a
Great
great place.
place.
Yeah, great venue for just like mastermind groups, happy hours, baby showers, whatever.
Yeah.
Just got its own cool, unique vibe and feel. People come in here all the time just for doing photograph shoots and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is great. But gives us a place to. We used to have this space across the way before COVID was a big event venue, and we hosted a ton of stuff there. And then obviously no one wanted to do events during COVID, so we pivoted and now have this great concept called the Neighbors, and that'll be our last stop. The Neighbors was created to pay homage to the Main Street districts of Orlando. You can see all the names of them here on the board there. The cocktail menu, there is a drink for each Main Street district, kind of themed around their own sense of self, if you want to call it that, or the businesses that are kind of popular in those areas. Out of the kitchen comes pizzas as well as just kind of a general bar menu. The kitchen before was serving the event space, and when COVID hit, we converted it into a chef's table. So a couple Michelin concepts have come out of here. So Camille, which is a French Vietnamese fusion, started a chef's table here and now is one of Orlando's Michelin stars. And then now the Neighbors operates this venue. So all Florida-based retailers here. In the corner they have local musicians, poetry slams. They think they had a Halloween drag night last night. So it's always something fun and funky happening up here.
Beyond here in the market, what are some other key things you would say are kind of the can't misses here in town?
Well, I'd say you've done some as far as the natural beauties of Orlando, of the area, are not just the beaches. Like everyone thinks, oh, you're landlocked. You're like, no, we have beautiful springs, we have beautiful lakes, we have alligators and airboat rides and all that around here. There is a really fantastic dining scene. Really exceptional. Small scale, owner operated, and I think those are the ones that make any place unique because they're locally distinct. You're not going to see them someplace else. So that's great. The Winter Park boat tour. So out the back door here is the city of Winter Park. Yeah. We are the city of Orlando. There's a chain of lakes, and so there's this really fun boat tour that you can go around and hear all the stories of the town in Orlando and Winter Park. So that's a great one to see for sure. At the end of this is Lou Gardens. It's a beautiful, city garden and a place where they host a lot of events and stuff as well. So just getting outside, things to do. We have a great science center, but I think a lot of towns have great science centers. But most of my world is cuisine. So yeah, there's just so many great places, great farmers markets. And we do produce a ton in the state. So I think, we are, the third largest vegetable exporter in the country. So we do have a really long growing season, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
We're the reverse of up north. That our summers are a little too hot for some things. They're not greenhouse grown. But the rest of the year, like right now, we're hitting our peak. So out front, we have the garden that's there is run by two different groups, one of which is called Fleet Farming, which is a program I started with a couple other people. They now farm 15 different backyards in the area by bicycle. So on Sunday morning, everyone comes here, they get on their bicycles and with a trailer with tools and compost, and they go and service these front yard gardens all around the district because we are the Audubon Park Garden District. So just trying to get people to convert their lawns into, farms is kind of what we're going for. But it's been great. So we're just trying to, I think the Main Street districts of Orlando would be another tip for people visiting the area, is that the districts really try to be unique and serve their neighborhood really well, which means that each district's going to feel a little different. Like when you guys went to Otto's, there's a couple other spots around that.
And which one of the districts is that in?
That's in the Mills 50 district.
Mills 50? Okay.
Or sorry, that's Milk District.
Milk
so
District, okay.
Right behind Otto's is the T.G. Lee Milk Plant, and that's why they call it the Milk District. So you're in Audubon Park. Ivanhoe's just down the street. Baldwin's just down the street here. Mills 50 is where most of the Asian concepts in town are congregated. I'm part investor in a restaurant called Kaya. It's a Michelin Green Star restaurant. It's Filipino food.
Michelin Green Star?
So we are noticed above just the normal star of saying it's sustainable.
Okay.
So we buy predominantly from local farms. All the practices are highly sustainable, and it was definitely something that we've been pushing hard. So it was nice to be noticed for that. We weren't doing it for an award, but doing it for all the right reasons. There's a bunch of other like College Park, Thornton Park. They all have their own unique feel, and I think that would be a great way for someone to bounce around these Main Street districts when they're in town and see what the locals are actually doing. There's plenty of big box stores, but you're going to have those in your own towns. So why go do that when you can eat someplace unique?
And what's the best farmers market in town?
Well, so 2 blocks from here is the Audubon Park Community Market, and it has to be local. They can't have anything that's not produced or procured or curated from the local community. That's a great one.
And when's that?
That's Monday nights.
Monday nights.
And it's attached to a Stardust, which has a coffee and cocktail program, so you can walk around having a cocktail and eating from all these local purveyors. I'm biased because I grew up in Winter Park. The Winter Park Farmers Market is fantastic. It's open air. It's on a beautiful drag of retail and food and whatever. So Park Avenue of Winter Park is for sure a place to see. It's not one of Orlando Main Street districts, but it is kind of a quintessential New England town. Like the train comes through town. There's a park. The whole downtown half of it's a park. So it's a really lovely place to stroll.
And when's that?
That's Saturday. Yeah, Saturday morning. But those are the main ones. Yeah. Okay. That's been going. That is really what seeded this. That the market manager for that, Gabby, helped me curate for those festivals. And then I'm like, hey, we could do this permanently. And I was like, but I need someone to help. So she was our first general manager here, and she's still involved in the scene. So it's been a cool evolution in the area. Actually, right across from it, I don't know if you'll be able to get reservations, but there's a omakase-style sushi restaurant called Cadence. It was one of Orlando's first Michelin stars, and it started downstairs as a 7-seat sushi restaurant back when omakase was not a thing. This is a place that really celebrates anything new and authentic and on purpose. Like, we all want to see more cool, unique stuff happen, and so we all support each other. And like tonight, there's a place called the Kitchen House, and it's like 6 or 7 of the top chefs in town just loving on each other, doing great food, and we're all supporting it. And it's about culinary education for kids that are underserved, and so it's a neat culinary scene. Everyone's very supportive, and it continues to evolve. So what's great about Orlando is so many creative people come to work at the theme parks, and then they realize it's a lovely place to live. And so what's happened is those people have stayed. And by staying, they're adding their creativity to the area. And so over 25 years of Disney being here and the theme parks growing, so many creative people have come to call Orlando home. But when they're not at work, even if they're still working at the theme parks, they want to do and be involved in cool things that are trendy and innovative. And so it has become a very unique place because we have a feeder program. You're not some Midwest town that was an old steel town that's falling apart. Like, this is always bringing in new talent, and the talent goes, oh, this is a really cool place, I want to stay.
Yeah.
And so obviously that they become people that start businesses, they become people that get hired in cool, locally unique businesses. So there is a really thriving ecosystem for locally distinct things in Orlando, thanks to the theme parks. It's definitely a symbiotic relationship. We have annual passes. We go all the time. We love the theme parks, but we also love that we have the local diner that is not like anything else on the planet, and all those people love it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as you can hear, Tim and I really had an incredible day with John Rife exploring the local food scene throughout Orlando. The East End Market is somewhere I think it's really a must stop on a trip to Orlando if you really want to get immersed in that local food scene and find out some more about what's really happening in town. And there are a couple places that we mentioned just quickly in that episode that I do want to come back to. One was a place where Tim and I got a chance to have dinner called Otto's High Dive. It's a rum bar, a Cuban-inspired rum bar. It's Michelin-recognized, and not just recognized for their food, but also recognized for their outstanding cocktail program by Michelin as well. And we had a fantastic dinner there. So another local restaurant that we definitely wanted to call out. We did mention a number of times throughout our tour of the market too, a place called Gideon's, which, it really is one of the best cookie shops I've ever had cookies at. And as John mentioned, they do have two locations, not just the one in the East End Market, but also a more elaborate location in the Disney Springs development. And I had a chance to go check that out. And if you don't have a chance to get to the market, but you are visiting Disney, you could definitely go still try their cookies over at Disney Springs. And you're going to find this amazing immersive bakery that's designed to almost look like something out of a Harry Potter movie. It's got these old-fashioned sort of goth props and medieval looking things all throughout the bakery. It's a really cool place. Just one thing to be aware, if you do go to the location in Disney Springs, it can have a very long wait, sometimes even several hour wait earlier in the day. If you go late at night, you might be lucky enough to get a half hour or less, but definitely if you don't have a chance to make it over to the East End Market, another way to try out some great cookies. There was one really cool spot too at the top of the market called Secret Slice, which you can look up on Instagram. But basically here you scan a QR code and you get kind of a surprise pizza that pops up from a little slot in a window from an upstairs office there. So it's kind of like a pizza speakeasy concept that's also upstairs at the East End Market, which we also really enjoyed. So another place that I would recommend checking out. But as you can hear, Orlando has an incredibly vibrant food scene, and we've really covered just a portion of it in this episode. So that's why we're going to be coming back with a second episode, continuing on with the food scene here in Orlando. And this time, we're meeting up with a local food blogger, Ricky Lee from Tasty Chomps. Popular local food blogger. He's going to be taking us to the Mills 50 district to hear some more about the food scene in that part of town. So we're going to be releasing that episode as well very soon. And between these two episodes, I think it will really give you a good overview of what's happening in this really dynamic food scene that started to emerge in Orlando. And we'll talk some more about some of one of the more unusual restaurants that we stopped at on that trip as well. So you can come back and hear about that in an upcoming episode. Also, if you are planning a trip down to Orlando, I would highly recommend checking out visitorlando.com. They've got a great trip planner that you can get access to help plan your trip. It's a great free resource for planning a trip down to Orlando that you can tap into. And I also want to thank them for supporting the podcast and our recent trip down to Orlando as well.
Luxury flights and hotels can be had for free. The world of points and miles sounds too good to be true, but it's actually real, but only if you know what you're doing.
On Frequent Miler on the Air, Greg and I'm Nick, discuss all the ways to earn points and miles and use them for outsized value.
Join us every Friday for our full episodes and every Tuesday for our quick, single-topic coffee break episodes.
See you there.
Travel isn't just about where you go, but how you do it. Curious Tourism explores the ethics, impact, and future of travel with Aaron Hines and Katie Lauer. Listen now at voyescape.com.